I thought you started off.
Oh, no, you can intro if you want.
Okay, cool. So, hi, I'm Adam, and welcome to Powerline. So, do you like having fun? Well, too bad. We're talking about chaos today. Opponent doesn't get to have fun here. But so first off, we have my tokens that my good friend Darren Choi made for me. He's awesome. They have Adelaide on the back. It's not really part of the deck, even though my friend Johnny uses them as tokens for Omega Lock cards. We'll start off with Grey Zeros. Cool. Carbon. Good starter. It's free. Fuels Soul for Chaos. And gets you Limit Break Enabler, Zinc, whatever you want. Just a solid card in general. We'll go to crits first. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the good crit, because this should go in every single Link Joker deck. Even if you don't have a Starvader Vanguard, it's always good to have a crit that can get tossed back into the deck. And we were playing Starvaders, so good effects. So it allows you to lock cards. You got to think of it when you're on Chaos Vanguard that you toss this into the deck. Technically a -1 from your hand, but then Chaos's Limit Break retires that card, and you draw the card that you lost from this. Plus, it stops them from doing things. More crits! And more crits, because draws are bad in this deck, and if you play stands, I will personally find you and rip them. And they're shiny because my deck max rarity. Technically, the regular Chaoses aren't secret rare, but I'll explain why when we get there. 12 crits, because Chaos has no offense otherwise, and you want... it's when you drive check a trigger, it doesn't matter too much, and you'd rather your triggers actually hurt. And now we play Karina. The light that lights up Demise Karina as the other heal trigger. Oh no, but if you soul charge it off Zinc, you can't soul blast it with Cast. You don't care. Oh no, if you damage check it, you can't use it for the Starvader Counterblast, for the one card that's a Starvader Counter. Well, 2. There's only a few cards that are, Starvader specific. It's Bringer's on ride skill and Chaos's discard. Whoa. And Soul Blast. Speaking of Soul Blast, this effect, when you go into Lacus Karina, Soul Blast 1, and you unflip 1, which is why you replay it, because unflip is the most important thing in this entire deck. As long as you have Counterblast, your deck works. If you don't have Counterblast, your deck doesn't work. And this can also Soul Blast Perfect cards if you ride it or Soul Charge it. Good cards. Alright, grade 1s. The deck revolves around Limit Break. We want to make sure we can Limit Break at all times. If you ride Bringer, you want to make sure you have this so you don't have to be at 4 damage to use the effect. And there will be decks that can retire this, so you want your highest chance of just manually drawing it. You also really want to use Chaos's Limit Break. Sometimes not having it can screw you over. You want Limit Break. Why would you play it at less than 4? I don't know. That was Sean. We play Perfect cards. Yes, they're all SP. Yes, they're not Starvaders. Well, no, they're not Starvaders. Why? They unflip. I think I explained this earlier. You want the unflip. Counter Blast is your entire resource. If you have no Counter Blast, you do not play. And then this can Soul Blast this to put it in the drop zone. If you stride into if you G-guard into Lacus Karina, you want to unflip. And Starvader names do not matter as much. We play 3 Stride Enablers that are Destiny Dealers, and they're beautifully SP. The way I like the deck, I play 8 Grade 3s and 3 Stride Enablers. Minus the 1 Grade 3 that you ride, that is 10 total options to stride, which is 20% of your deck. That's the way I like to do it. If you have 20% of your deck that you can discard 1 card and stride with, I feel safe and comfortable. It should mean that almost every single time I can actually stride. And this is a terrible ride. Try not to ride it. And then the last card. 1, 2, 3 Zinc. Zinc is a good card. It gives you your Counter Blast. It also Soul Charges. Why we're not playing 4? You don't want to use more than like 2 a game. If you're using all 3, you're just going to deck yourself out. It's Counter Charge 2, Soul Charge 2 if your opponent has a lock card and you have a Chaos Vanguard. Yeah. Optimally, once per game. Once is usually enough. Maybe twice now if you're going to try to, alt-wilder them. Grade 2s. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that can lock. Why? Because that's what the deck does. It locks. Why are you playing random ass things? This locks for free if they have a locked card. It's a good card. It's Legion Rare. It's pretty. I don't think I have to explain this. This attacks for 11 if you have a Chaos Vanguard. Solid, can attack unboosted. Very nice. And when it's placed on rear, Counterblast 1, lock an opponent's card if you have a Chaos Vanguard and they have a locked card. Like I said, lock them. Tell them they cannot have fun. Tell them they cannot play the game while you can. The way you play this deck is that you think of cards in their hand. So if they need to guard 3 attacks of yours, while they have only 1 attack, you're going to slowly gain advantage on them. And the last card, Colony Maker, because these are important cards. Well, these are. Also, you can Colony Maker into a Paradigm if you really need to get an extra lock, if you're desperate, etc., etc. Can happen. Also, if you run out of targets. Grade 3, it's pretty simple. Chaos. 1 Secret Rare because it's pretty and why not? These are actually BTO 13 SPs. Why? Best quote ever. It is easy to break a man's heart. First, give it hope, then obliterate it. And I fell in love with the card when I pulled it and read the quote. They're all SP, but these aren't full art or secret rare or whatever. It's still SP, and I prefer this because I would rather read the quote to somebody. This thing gets chaos, also locks a card on ride for a Starvader Counterblast. It's just a chaos card. It could have had no effect. Actually, no, I like the fact that it gets chaos. And all I care about is that it has chaos in its name, and it lets you get the right one. Build Soul. Good in certain matchups, like you can, like, let's say they have a full field, you can ride Bringer and then call a Photon and actually still do things on your first stride, unlike most people, because this card calls to open rear. Alright, strides. 1, 2, 3, 4, Chaos Universe. Counterblast 1, flip a copy of himself. You select an empty rearguard circle. Your opponent chooses a card and calls it in locked position. It tells your opponent that they can't have fun. They can try to not call field all they want. This guarantees that they don't have front row ever, or at least for most of the game. And then if you have 2 or more face-up cards in the G zone, which means if you randomly ask G guard or something, you lock another card. This also, if you're playing really bad builds, you can use this. And if you have 2 face-up cards in the G zone, it's a separate ability, and you can still lock a card anyway. Don't do that. It's bad. And then 4, the other card that locks, because, lock, no fun. This one, Omega locks. This one tells them that they don't get their rear guards for 2 turns instead of 1. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to first stride this, you're going to lock a front row. If they leave a front row up, you use Chaos's Limit Break, Soul Blast 1 Starvader, kill card, draw, and then use the second one to recall the card to the spot that you just killed. And then because you have 2 or more face up, you lock the other front row, and then it's gone from that. Then next turn you go into this thing. You don't kill anything in the front row. You use this, flip himself, Omega lock the card in the front row, and everything else in the column. It doesn't have to have a booster. It doesn't matter too much. And then as long as you have, one of the 8 lockers, you can tell them that they have no front row. The next turn you can do this, Omega lock the other front row. And then after that, you can go into the most homosexual of all the strides, Flagellant Messiah, or as some people say, a different word. Its effect is interesting. Counterblast 1, flip anything you want from your G zone when it attacks. For every copy of himself, unlock up to 2 units on the board, and then Omega lock everything else. And if you unlock 3 or more, it gains crit. Why do we play it? Because we play G-Guards that lock our own rear guards. And what we can do is we can G-Guard to lock our own rear guards, then stride into Flagellant, unlock our rear guards, and then the cards that were Omega locked from Crunch get re-Omega locked from this. Because more turns of no fun. And that's it for the Messiah strides. We play 2 Outwilder. Why? It's really, really good. It's the finisher that I didn't know I needed. If you play Messiahs, I'm just going to laugh at you because this card doesn't really work very well for you. This says Counterblast 1, discard 2. GB8, first off. Counterblast 1, discard 2. Opponent just choose empty rearguard circles on your opponent's field equal to the number of damage they have, and they call cards from their hand into the lock position on there. What do we play 2? Because Luard has a lot of hand. And sometimes you're going to have to use this, then use Chaos to kill them, then use another one to re-lock everything. Why this is really good, it basically says that you have 5 locked on your opponent's field, which means that decks like Luard can't call Perfect Guards can't call cards to kill with S-Risk to get back. Night Rose can't revive stand triggers or anything else for that matter to go back into their deck, and you just kind of laugh at them while they can't do anything. At worst, you can use 2, you don't use 2, it doesn't really matter. You might have a Vanilla Stride in here somewhere. Oh, also this is decent against the mirror. It's just a really good card. You could play like an Amnesty, but it doesn't matter too much because Amnesty is only good against other Link Joker decks. 1, G-Guard. This thing's Destiny Guardian. This says unlock up to 2 cards. If you unlock 2, it gains 10k shield. It's duty. I don't like it. It beats Link Joker. It's a flip target for this. I mean, I could technically use it if I'm really desperate, but it's honestly they're just for the Link Joker mirror match. We play 2 Darkness that lights up Demise Lacus Carina. Why do we play 2? If this thing flips another thing, and you said that you flip this. Why? Because if we G-Guard with this into this, but don't even bother with this effect, this still gets us the unflip. And its seal is Counterblast 1, lock up to 3 of any of your rears, which means that you can go tell D-Robos to eat a dick. Sorry, eat a long hot dog.
Just go with it.
You can lock your rear guard that they're attacking if somehow you didn't lock more than 2 rear guards. And they have Laurel and everything. You can kind of lock your own rears and tell them to go away. But this basically usually flips this. This will be it's 15k shield, and it also locks your own rear guards. For this, if you need to. And we play 1 of this. Why? He's free. He's 20k shield if you need him, and he also locks your rear guards for this. You may notice that this is similar to Cardfight King's deck.